Welcome to Naptime Sports Talk Podcast. We are two dads talking sports during nap times. Thank you for tuning in to the latest episode. Welcome back to Naptime Sports Talk Podcast. For today's episode, we're going to go over the first three games for the Minnesota Vikings and then get into some players to watch for the NFL draft upcoming in April. The draft this year is going to be in Green Bay. Super excited for that one. But right now, Big D's joining me again on today's pod, so welcome, DC. Thank you for joining. But man, 3-0. Who would have thought? I had the Vikes going 2-1 to this point, but 3-0 going in, beating the Giants, beating San Fran at home, then putting on a show versus the Houston Texans, a dominant win there this past Sunday. So just super excited about the start of the Minnesota Vikings, and 3-0, baby. Let's go. So just moving into yesterday's game, one thing that really stood out to me was we held the Houston Texans to only 38 rushing yards, which was huge. You know, they weren't able to get the pass game going with play action, things like that, since we were able to shut down the run. And man, it sure showed. We just dominated them up in the trenches there with our defensive line, getting after Stroud. And yeah, just this defense in general has been so impressive so far through the first three games. Flores looking like a mastermind defense coordinator, defensive coach that we already knew. And just with the right weapons on that side of the ball, and finally, you know, they're finally kind of gelling right now, and people fit his scheme a little better this year, I would say, than in the past. And it's sure showing because those guys have been playing lights out. Jonathan Grenard, ABG, Andrew Van Ginkel made a huge interception there the first week versus the Giants, and just keeps making plays all over the field, really. Then Blake Cashman coming in the middle of the defense. He's flying everywhere, making tackles. Just super impressed with his defense so far. And then offensively, I can say the same thing for the offense side of the ball. I think the biggest thing for both sides of the ball has been overall the line play. So we're controlling the line of scrimmage on offense and defense. Our offensive line is giving Sam Darnold a lot of time to throw the ball. You know, it's not perfect every game. He's going to get some pressure, but for majority, they're doing what they can do to make sure that he has a clean pocket to step up into and just let it rip. So super impressed so far. 3-0, like I said. And Big D, what are your thoughts so far on the start of the season?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Especially against Houston, they made CJ Stroud very uncomfortable in the pocket. He couldn't scramble. He couldn't really throw the ball that well. I think Cashman stepped up very well. The whole defense just stepped up really good. Like you said, they hold him to 38 yards rushing, and I think they hold him under like 200 yards passing, whatever. And I think Diggs was their number one receiver there with like almost 100 yards. But yeah, the defense looked phenomenal. Like I said, they're going to be a top 10 defense by the end of the year. And they actually were playing like a top 10 defense yesterday. And on the offensive side of the ball, Darnold looks like an MVP candidate right now. Throwing the ball very well in tight coverage. Like that nice touchdown he threw in the muss with triple coverage on the last touchdown they did. Jefferson looked good in the first half. Yeah, he had two bad catches that could have been first downs, but Jefferson is having an awesome year so far. Jalen Naylor stepped up yesterday over Addison. Jalen Naylor looked really good. He has like 3 or 4 touchdowns the last 2 games. Yeah, they're playing very well, and their offensive line is on their block, so it's getting Donald time to look down the field and make his passes, and Aaron Jones is looking really good for us too, and everything. So I'm very impressed through these 3 games that we are doing right now.
Yeah, for sure. And going back to Jalen Naylor, he's had 3 touchdowns so far in the first 3 games, so he's got one every game. But he's a guy that we needed to kind of step up in that wide receiver 3 role. Right now, he's playing as a wide receiver 2 with Addison being hurt the first 2 games. Unfortunately, he got, you know, he's a suspect of fell victim to the hip drop shackles, which some that they're trying to get rid of in the NFL, where the guy kind of drops a guy by the ankle at their hip and kind of bends their ankle underneath their hip. So they're trying to get rid of that because a lot of high injuries happen with that tackle.
Mhm.
But overall, yeah, for sure. Sam Darnold, I feel like if you continue to give him a clean pocket, he's got a good arm. He's hitting it. He's having accurate throws. You know, the one game so far, San Fran, he had that bad interception in the red zone. But other than that, he's been pretty steady. There's some passes yesterday that they're kind of saying on the television there that they would maybe hope that he wouldn't make those throws, or he doesn't need to make those throws in certain moments. Just take the loss or take the sack or just throw it in the dirt there. But yeah, overall, very impressed with him. And man, if Sam Darnold keeps it going, like, it just brings me the questions. Well, if he can keep playing at this high level, it's going to be very interesting to see what the Vikings do later on in the future, if they decide to bring him back for another year, or do we just move on and go after JJ McCarthy? Because I'd imagine that Sam Darnold is going to have some suitors if he keeps playing like this, and that money might be going up for him. So overall, super impressed so far with what he's done, and you can honestly say that the Vikings might be one of the best coached NFL teams so far in the NFL on offense and defense and special teams. So super impressed so far with Will Reichard too. We kind of knew how great of a kicker he was coming out of Alabama, but man, he's been money so far this season, and hopefully he can just keep it going.
Especially that field goal that kind of scared us a little bit, hit the upright and went in.
Stuff's going right when you hit that upright and it goes in still. So
Yeah, yeah.
we had some good mojo on our side yesterday, and hopefully that keeps rolling because it's Packer week, man. Got the Green Bay Packers on Sunday. Looking forward to that game. Jordan Love might be back. We'll see what happens with that. But if he's back or if he's not back, it's going to be a good game, going to be a battle. And hopefully the Vikes can go in there, Green Bay, and leave with a victory. But yeah, kind of, talking maybe just about some guys who really kind of just impressed me so far this season that maybe we haven't thought would have these huge roles and things like that. So far, I've been really impressed with, obviously, we kind of knew that Jonathan Grenard was going to have a really good year out, so we brought him in with the big contract. And he really showed out yesterday at the 3 sacks. I was super, super impressed with that. AVG, I knew he was going to be good, but I didn't know he was going to be this good. Man, does he fly around the field. Watching him play in Miami, he was kind of more like a role player, and he is really impressive. So super excited about the depth that we continue to have on the edge. I thought Camus Gruger-Hill, number 54, yesterday really stood out to me, coming in for Ivan Pace, who was out of the game with an injury. Patrick Jones keeps playing pretty well, I would say, for the most part. Yesterday he didn't have a sack, but he's been really, really stout the first 2 games with the role he's been given. Jerry Tillery, man, he's been a force in the middle of the defense. Been really, really excited for him as well. And then offensively, Blake Brandel stepping into left guard. He's done a fantastic job opening holes in the run game and helping out in the pass game too. So overall, I've been really, really impressed with this team and just super excited to see what we can do going forward. So how about you, Big D? Who are some guys that have kind of impressed you so far this early season?
Yeah, I have a couple. Harrison Phillips been stepping up, making some big plays on the defense side of the ball.
Yeah,
And
did that tip ball yesterday. That went for a pick.
yep. And then another one is he's a veteran, Stephon Gilmore. He had a heck of a game yesterday too. Griffin is having a heck of a game. Metellus, he looked phenomenal yesterday. I think our secondary has been doing really good. I know they're ranked 12th in passing, 8th in rushing, but that's still early in the season for that. But like,
No, I think that the defensive line also helps
yeah,
them have a good secondary too. But
and
yeah, those guys just continue to fly around and make plays, especially Metellus, building off of his year that he had last year.
yeah, and like I've been very impressed with Dallas Turner. I know he didn't play yesterday with an injury, but he's been looking really solid for the first 2 games of the year. So I can't wait to see him what he does for the rest of the year when he comes back from his injury. And I think our offense is gonna be more dangerous when Hawkinson comes back and Addison comes back. Like that, and that's gonna give Sam Darnold more weapons besides getting like AJ, Jay Naylor and JJ and all that stuff. So I can't wait for our key guys to come back and see what we can actually do.
Yeah, no doubt. That's going to be a huge or two huge guys to get back when they're healthy and continue to build the momentum off the offense, what they're doing so far. You got to think that the offense will just only be even better when those guys come back. So super excited for that to see what happens too. Hawkinson's probably be out a little longer. Then Addison, I'm not sure what's going on with his ankle, but hopefully he'll be back here in the coming weeks. I don't know if he's a play on Sunday. We'll see. But yeah, hopefully he's going to be back before the bye. Those ankle injuries are so tricky, especially when you get those sprains.
And I got one more person, and I've been really impressed with Ty Chandler. They're actually giving him the ball a lot, and he's been looking really good right now.
Yeah, I always saw Ty Chandler last year too made, plays when he was in there. So it's nice to see him continue just with that. There's definitely that burst there. He's a good running back. And yeah, I think Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler both have been playing really, really well. So hopefully they can keep that going as well. So, but yeah, we got the Packers next Sunday. And after that, we have the Jets and we're already on our bye. So it's pretty crazy that we're already looking to be week 4 coming up with the NFL. And then after that, like I said, the Jets over in London, and then we're gonna be on our bye, which is kind of crazy. Then after that, it gets a long stretch of games there because they have all those games in a row. They got the Lions, the Rams, the Colts, the Jags, Titans, Bears, Cardinals, Falcons, Bears again, Seahawks. End of the year at the Packers and Lions. So it's gonna be interesting to see what we can do. They might be better than I think we might be better than people were thinking. So
Yeah, I think so too.
I know you had them winning the division, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But I had them going like 9-8 in the season. At this point, I had them going 2-1. So we'll see if they can get the win on Sunday.
Yeah, if they stay healthy and they're playing the way they are, this could be a good season for us.
Yeah, and we're a tough NFC North too. The Packers are looking good. The Lions look good again. So got the Vikes on top right now, 3-0. Lions 2-1, Packers 2-1, then the Bears 1-2. So been kind of shocked with the Bears. Really, I think the offensive line has really shown their face for Chicago and how they need a lot more work on that side of the ball, especially at the line. Because man, poor Caleb Williams just running around for his life back there, and they got to figure this out. Because you look at what the Bears had with Justin Fields. He's on the Steelers. He's played the last 3 games. Guess what? The Steelers are 3-0. Justin Fields is throwing the ball really well too right now. So hopefully they don't waste this talent because it seems like they kind of wasted the talent with Fields. But man, they got to figure themselves out. But hey, it's okay. It's the Bears. They can suck, right?
Yeah. All the teams can suck besides the Vikes.
Yeah, for sure. But we're just looking at some other divisions here. NFC East just got the Eagles 2-1 so far in the season. Got the Commanders playing tonight. The Cowboys, that's been a surprise, 1-2. They've really struggled so far beginning this year. I guess defensively is the one thing that's kind of been surprising for me how bad they've been struggling. They've given up already 89 points on the season. Seahawks are 3-0. That's pretty crazy. You got the Cardinals, Rams, and 49ers all at 1-2 right now. Obviously, still early in the season. But yeah, who would have thought the Seahawks have been on top of that division through week 3? And of course, you got the Vikes. So far, I'm looking at all the point against average or point against through the first 3 games. And the Vikes are sitting at the lowest in the NFC with only 30 points given up. So that's very impressive, especially going versus the San Francisco 49ers and the Houston Texans, who have really good offenses. So then looking over at the AFC, or actually go down the NFC South, you got the Saints and Bucks on top of those divisions at 2-1. You got the Falcons and Panthers at 1-2. So is there a team in the NFC DC that's kind of surprised you so far?
I have to say the Seahawks too. Um, I think they're gonna be. 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 I think they're gonna be like they have Geno Smith running the offense, and everything, and DK is having a good year so far. So yeah, I've been really impressed with the Seahawks. They're not one of my favorite teams, but they're playing really good ball right now.
Yeah, they got the new coach there too, so
Yeah.
very cool to see them having some success early on. We'll hear what they can do in the coming weeks. But then in the AFC East, just not a surprise with the Buffalo Bills and the Jets kind of on top of their divisions. Aaron Rodgers looking really well, looking really good. The Bills actually haven't played their third game, so they'll be playing tonight as we record Monday. So we'll see what happens with them. But the Dolphins unfortunately lost Tua to that concussion. We'll see what happens with Tua if he comes back or not. Patriots have been better than kind of thought. They're 1-2 so far, but offensively they kind of really struggled. So I wonder if we'll see Drake May here soon. Looking at the AFC West, the Chiefs still looking like the juggernaut, unfortunately. Their defense, though, has given up 62 points through 3 games. So that's something that maybe they're not going to be as good defensively. The Chargers have looked pretty stout so far, beginning of the year at 2-1. Their defense has only given up 33 points so far, and they've scored 58. So, Harbaugh likes to play that good defense and run the ball effectively, and they've been doing that so far with the Chargers. The Broncos, and man, the Raiders have been struggling so far early on. Terrible loss this week at home versus the Panthers. So that was pretty embarrassing for them. One of their worst games they probably played in a long time. They're a lot better than that, so hopefully they can figure that out. But Bo Nix, going back to the Broncos, Bo Nix is looking like Bo Nix. He had a decent game here this past game, but man, if you've been watching him at all, then the accuracy is just a concern. Going to the AFC North, you got the Steelers, the surprise team in the AFC North at 3-0 right now. As we talked about, their defense has given up 26 points a game, or not 26 points games, but 26 through 3 games, which is really impressive. They have a really stout D too, so that's a team that maybe to watch out for in the AFC North. Baltimore finally got their first win yesterday versus the Cowboys, moving them to 1-2. The Browns 1-2, and then the Bengals are 0-2 right now with one more game to play tonight. And then looking down at the AFC South, this might be probably will stay the weakest division in the AFC, if not in football, honestly, because you got the Texans at 2-1 right now, the Colts 1-2, Jaguars with the Jaguars at 0-2 right now. Obviously, they play tonight too, and then the Titans at 0-3 have looked pretty poorly so far this season. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, football's here. It's among us, and it's been a fun season so far to be a Vikings fan, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So for our next segment, I just kind of want to move into some players to kind of watch for during the college football season here who are going to be coming up in the draft. Some of them, of course, could stay one more year depending on their eligibility, if they're juniors or if they have, one more year after this year. But just talking about the running back position so far, man, because this running back class is absolutely loaded. Big D, you're going to know this name. Ashton Genty for the Boise State Broncos has been unreal this year so far. So he's a guy to watch out. He's number 1 right now on my board if I pick my top 5 right now. But yeah, he's a guy from Boise State. Watch for him. Could be a first-round pick. Then going on number 2, Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State has had a great year as well. Watch out for him. Marion Hampton, running back, North Carolina. Ollie Gordon, the second running back, Oklahoma State. Trevor Etienne out of Georgia, running back. And then one guy that's, another guy from Ohio State is Travion Henderson. He's another guy to watch for. Raheem Sanders, running back for South Carolina, is a really good back as well. So yeah, there's just a loaded running back class coming out, and it's pretty exciting, man, because there are some studs here, and guys are gonna be. You're gonna get probably a starter here in the 3rd, 4th round coming out in this next year's class, because, like I said, they are loaded at that position. And then moving into wide receiver is super loaded as well. You got Titorio McMillan, wide receiver at Arizona, 6'5", So he's got a big body wide receiver. He's been absolutely killing it this year. Here's the guy that's the biggest question mark. Is he going to play corner? Is he going to play wide receiver? He's probably going to play both in some capacity in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to be an every down player on every single side or on both sides of the ball, but Travis Hunter, man, has been incredible, showing his talent. I would say he's the early Heisman favorite right now, and he should win the Heisman because what he's doing the last couple of years playing offense and defense at cornerback, he could be a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL and a top 5 cornerback in the NFL. This is how much talent this kid has. So he's just super, super impressive.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one.
And then Luther Burden, the third wide receiver on Missouri, heck of a talent. He's been having I think he's kind of having a little quiet year so far, but Missouri's been kind of not putting up a lot of points so far this season. But yeah, he's another guy who's definitely got a lot of talent. And then looking at some other guys here, I just want to talk about this guy. His first name's pretty hard to pronounce, but Alik Amanor, wide receiver of Stanford. He had a crazy catch this last weekend where he went up and kind of made like an OBJ one-handed grab in the end zone. So he's a guy to kind of watch out for as well. He's been a really fun player to watch. So this wide receiver class, DC, is looking really, really nice too. And I just feel like every single year these kids just keep getting better and better. And I'd also be kind of, it'd be a failure to name Evan Stewart, wide receiver out of Oregon. He's another guy that has a lot of talent. He actually played at Texas A&M last year and is at Oregon now. So yeah, every year, man, these kids keep getting better and better. And I know Big D knows this, but there's a kid for Alabama right now, Ryan Williams, I believe his name is, and he should be a senior in high school, which just blows my mind. And he's playing at a high level right now at 17 years old, college football in one of the toughest conferences, if not the toughest conference in all of college football.
And he's killing it right now.
Yeah, he really is. He won't be obviously in this draft class because he got 3 years of eligibility remaining, but man, he is looking like a stud. And also Jeremiah Smith out of Ohio State, wide receiver, is looking very, very nice too. So then I just want to finish up with the defensive back class. Other episodes I will get into more other positions to kind of watch. But I just kind of want to focus more on the skill positions, minus the tight ends. But we already mentioned Travis Hunter, how he could easily be a top 5 cornerback in the NFL as well. But another guy to watch for is Will Johnson, DB out of Michigan. He'll be a first-round pick, probably a top 10 pick if I would imagine. Benjamin Morrison, cornerback out of Notre Dame. I think he'll be a top 15 guy. He's a really, really stout corner as well. Malachi Starks for Georgia is having a really solid year so far. Virginia Tech has a couple really stud cornerbacks to watch out for too. Mansour Delane, and then also Dorian Strong. So both those guys will probably go in the top, I'll probably say at least day 2. So I bring up the cornerback position because I feel like going forward in next year's draft, obviously looking way, way in the future, but that's a position that the Vikings could eventually end up taking there in the draft, depending where we're picking, because that is a need at cornerback. Obviously, we brought Stephon Gilmore in this year and Shaq Griffin, but we got to get younger at that position because those guys are both probably, especially Gilmore is probably coming to the end of his career real soon. I don't know how much longer he's going to play. And then Griffin, he's also in his upper 20s too. So it'd be nice to get younger at that area, or in that area on the defensive side of the ball. So cornerback is definitely a place where the Vikings could end up looking next season. And how cool would it be? I mean, we'd have to be pretty bad, I think, this season to get up there to get this guy. But imagine getting Travis Hunter and having him at corner and having him on wide receiver with JJ and Addison and Naylor and Hawkinson. That'd just be unreal, man.
That'd be great. I was actually thinking about that today too. I was like, how sick that would be if he got Travis Hunter on the Vikes. He would look good in purple.
Yeah, I agree. That would be unreal. So, well, Big D, that's kind of wrapping up the show today. It's going to be a kind of short one here, but do you have anything else you want to say about the Vikings or anything in college football?
Uh, I've been, like I said, I've been very impressed with the Vikings how they're playing this year, and I've been watching a crap ton of college football. I've actually been getting back into it, but yeah, I'm just like, super excited for the season here, and I'm enjoying watching it every Saturday, Sunday, and everything, and watching some Friday Night Lights for some high school ball. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and like that, I can't wait for each week to go, and hopefully the Vikings put the smackdown on the cheeseheads. But yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, for sure. A quick shout out to Denfeld High School football. Undefeated so far this year, 4-0, and they just beat up the crosstown rival Duluth East here this past Friday night. So that was a fun game to go watch. Big D and I actually went to watch that one, so that was a good time. But DC, before I guess we move on, what's your prediction for Sunday? Who do you think, Vikes or Packers?
Oh, I'm going Vikes. I'm gonna go 28-14.
28-14?
Yep.
I like it. Okay. I think we keep this rolling, man. I think we're going to move the 4-0. I'm going to say Vikes 27-17. We say Vikes 27-17. Sam Darnold, Sammy D keeps it up, and Flores, if Love gets on the field, confuses the crap out of him there, and we get the victory in Old Lambeau, and we go slay some cheese.
Heck yeah, I'm ready to eat some cheese.
No doubt. Hopefully those boys on the D line will be eating some cheese after the game with Sack and Love and whoever. Maybe it's Malik Willis playing, but we'll see what happens there. Who ends up playing at quarterback for the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening, supporting the podcast, and we'll see you next time. Skol Vikes. Thank you for listening to our episode. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram and X at Naptime Sports Talk Podcast for content related to the pod. Thank you for the support.